Hello YouTube, so today I'm going to show you guys the Thunder Dragon deck. So first off, yes, we're actually just gonna start with the main deck this time. So as for the dangers, 2 Bigfoot, 2 Thunderbird, 1 Nessie, 1 Tsukinoko, along with 2 Mothman. So this card destroys a face-up card the opponent controls if it's discarded. This card destroys a set card your opponent controls if it's discarded, and Nessie adds a danger from the deck if it's discarded. Mothman, if it's discarded, draws 1 and discards 1, and Tsukinoko special summons itself if it's discarded. If you didn't know, the main effect of the dangers is that all of them have in common is you can reveal this card in your hand. Your opponent randomly chooses 1 card from your entire hand, then you discard the chosen card. Then, if the discarded card was not Danger Bigfoot, special summon a Danger Bigfoot from your hand, and if you do, draw 1 card. It's not all of them are Danger Bigfoot, but so like for the that part that says Danger Bigfoot, that goes for Thunderbird, Nessie, Mothman, and Tsukinoko. So I hope that I'm explaining that well. I'm probably not, and I apologize if I'm not, but that's just the easiest way for me to think of doing it. So next off is we're going to do the Thunder Dragon monsters. So to duo, this card so its first effect is its special summoning requirement. It allows you to special summon itself by banishing a light and dark monster from your graveyard. If a monster effect is activated in the hands, this card gains 300 attack until the end of the turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish a card from your graveyard, add a thunder monster from your deck to your hand. That's really the main reason that I like Duo more than, say, like the Chaos Creator. The second, and also it's searchable by Dark. The next thing says, once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can target one of your banished cards, place it on the top or bottom of your deck. So that part there just is really good. It just allows you to like recycle your banished cards basically. As for Roar, you can discard this card, adds to your hand one of your Thunder Dragon cards that is banished or in your graveyard, except Thunder Dragon Roar. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, but return it to the hand during the end phase. You can only use this effect you can only use one effect of Thunder Dragon Roar per turn, and only once that turn. So for Thunder Dragon Roar, you can only use one of its effects per turn, and that effect that you do use, you can only use once per turn. Whereas with Duo, I think so. The gaining 300 attack is once per turn. Shuffling back the banished cards is once per turn, but the adding Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, I don't think that is once per turn. But anyways, next off, 3 Hawk. You can discard this card, special summon one of your Thunder Dragon monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, except for Thunder Dragon Hawk. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck, then draw the same number of cards. You can only use one Thunder Dragon Hawk effect per turn, and only once that turn. So mulligan or special summon from the banished zone or graveyard. Yeah, so next off, Thunder Dragon. This one's really simple. Discard this card, add up to 2 Thunder Dragon monsters, or Thunder Dragon, from your deck to your hand. So you can discard, it can discard itself, add 1 or 2 of itself from your deck to your hand, basically. Next off is Thunder Dragon Dark. You can so this is a quick effect, which is very relevant. It says, quick effect, you can discard this card, add a Thunder Dragon Dark from your deck to your hand. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Thunder Dragon card from your deck to your hand, except Thunder Dragon Dark. You can only use one effect of, you can only use one Thunder Dragon Dark effect per turn, and only once that turn. And then lastly, Thunder Dragon Matrix. On a quick effect, it says you can discard this card, target a Thunder monster you control, it gains 500 attack. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, add a Thunder Dragon Matrix from your deck to your hand. You can only use one Thunder Dragon Matrix effect per turn, and only once that turn. Next, so that would be for all of the Thunder Dragon monsters. So next off, we're going to look at D-Shifter. If you have no cards in your graveyard, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So this hard counters Orcust on the first turn. And lastly, to round out the monsters, 3 Battering Man Solar. If this card is normal or special summoned, send a Thunder Dragon, or a Thunder Dragon. Send a Thunder monster from your deck to the graveyard. If a Thunder monster is normal or special summoned, while this monster is on the field, special summon a Battering Man token, Thunder Light, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. You can target 1. Well, okay, the rest of it isn't really relevant. You can only use each effect of Battering Man Solar once per turn. Actually, for monsters, we have lastly Chaos Valkyria. Cannot be a normal summon. There's that. Must be special summoned by a card effect. You can banish a light or dark monster from your graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. If it is banished, you can send a light or dark monster from your deck to the graveyard, but for the rest of the turn you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same name as that card. You can only use this effect of Chaos Valkyria once per turn. That would round it out for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, 2 Polymerization, 2 Pot of Desires, 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion, and 1 D-Fisher. So Polymerization just allows you mostly to get into twin-headed Thunder Dragon. So one Thunder Dragon and a Polymerization basically equals Thunder Dragon Titan. Or if you, Thunder Dragon Titan. Pot of Desires just allows you to draw 2 cards by banishing 10 cards from the top of your deck face down. It is notable that while you are banishing, if you did banish the Thunder Dragon monsters, their effects wouldn't go off because they're face down. Next off, 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion. This card allows you to fusion summon a Thunder Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from cards among your field and your graveyard and or your face-up banished cards. during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. Banish this card from your graveyard, and a Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Thunder Dragon Fusion once per turn. So you could search Batteryman Solar, or alternatively, if you chose to put Chaos Creator in the deck, you could search that as well. Lastly, D-Fisher. Any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. It's almost like a 4th dimension shifter, except it's only for monsters and it's an infinite spell. Yeah, that would round it out for the main deck. Next off, in the extra deck, we have 3 Titan. It says it must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by banishing a Thunder monster from your hand and a Thunder fusion monster you control, except Thunder Dragon Titan, in which case you do not use Polymerization. When a Thunder monster is affected, activated in the hand, even during the damage step, I apologize, quick effect, you can destroy a card on the field. If this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard instead. What I was talking about earlier with Thunder Dragon is you can activate Thunder Dragon's effect to discard itself to add 2 more Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand, and then activate Polymerization to fuse those 2. And I guess I was kind of wrong. If you have another Thunder monster in your hand, or is it? Okay, yeah. If you have any other Thunder monster in your hand and this out, then you can make Titan. I apologize. I guess that was kind of wrong. Next off is number 77, the 7 Sins. This card, it allows you to banish all of your opponent's special summoned monsters, or as many as you can. Then attach one of them to material as this card as a Xyz material, so you can only really use its effects twice though, because you have to detach 2 Xyz materials from it. If it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material from it instead. If it's Xyz summoned using a rank 10 or 11 Dark Xyz material, then it can't activate its effects the first turn it's summoned, so which is the way that you're going to be bringing it out in this particular deck. So yeah, that kind of gives leeway into number XX and Infinity Dark Utopic. The first effect doesn't really matter. If you're going to use this effect, if you're going to use this monster, if you're going to use its effect, then the second effect is really the one you'd want to use. It says you can target one other face-up special summoned monster you control, gain life points equal to its attack points. You can only use each effect of number XX Utopic Dark Infinity once per turn. Yeah. Next off, Unchained Abomination. If a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, except by Unchained Abomination, and except during the damage step, target a card on the field, destroy it. When another monster is destroyed by battle, target a card on the field, destroy it. During the end phase, target a card on the field and destroy it. So it gives you 3 potential opportunities to destroy cards on the field. You can only use each effect of Unchained Abomination once per turn. Next off, Borreload Dragon. This just allows you to steal your opponent's monster. I prefer this to Borrelsword just because, like, some of them might have, like, targeting protection or something like that, and honestly, in my opinion, Borreload, just being able to steal the monster, in my opinion, is just a lot better. So neither player can target it with card effects. Once per turn, quick effect, target a face-up monster on the field, loses 500 attack and defense. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can place that opponent's monster in the zone this card points to, and take control of it, but send it to the graveyard during the end phase of the next turn. Topologic Zeraboros, it gains 200 attack for each banished card. If another monster is special summoned to zone this point, a link monster points to. So it can be any link monster, not just it. While this monster is on the field, banish all cards on the field. That includes spell and trap cards. Once per turn during the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished by its own effect, special summon the banished card. So they actually recently changed its effect a little bit. In the TCG anyways, it used to be that you couldn't how to explain this? You'd special summon it during your own standby phase, but you wouldn't be able to. Okay, so the card text right now currently says once per turn during the standby phase of the next turn after this card is banished by its own effect, special summoned it. So it used to be that you'd have to wait until your own standby phase to special summon it back, or if you banished it during your opponent's standby phase, your opponent's standby phase. But yeah, so that's actually really good, and I think that's the reason a lot of people didn't play it before. Next off, Thunder Dragon Thunderstorm Mech. I feel like a lot of people don't really like this card. With a Battering Ram Solar and Dimension Fisher or Shifter, or alternatively Dimensional Fisher, that combination of cards single-handedly makes, I guess not single-handedly, but it allows you to make Thunderstorm Mech. So during your main phase, okay, I'm just reading all of these cards. Okay, it allows you to target one of your Thunder Dragon monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Apply the monster's effect that discards itself to activate, so not banishes or is sent from the field to the graveyard. Then place that monster on the top or bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Thunder Dragon Storm Mech once per turn if a Thunder monster or monsters. So it can include itself, but can also include other Thunder monsters on the field. So that would include like Battering Ram Solar or some summoner. If a Thunder monster, or monsters would be, you control if you destroyed by left or card effect, you can banish 3 cards from your graveyard instead. Next off, Topologic Trishopania. If a monster is special summoned to zone, it points to banish as many of those monsters as possible, and then as many spell and trap cards on the field as possible. And if you do inflict 500 damage to your runner for each of their cards banished by this effect, that last 500 damage, that doesn't really particularly matter. Banishing all spell and trap cards, that's really the relevant effect. 1 Nightmare Unicorn and 1 Phoenix. Phoenix, they both allow you to discard a card and target a card on the field and return it to the deck, and if it was co-linked when its effect activated, you can draw a card as well. The rest of the effect, it doesn't really matter. For this one, it's very similar, except it's target a spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it, instead of returning it to the deck. Second to lastly, Summoner. This card it's basically just a Thunder Link 2, but at the same time it says once per turn during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can discard a card, then target a Thunder monster in your graveyard, except a Link monster, special summon it to his own. This card wins 2. So that's pretty good. If you end up having it out on the field, you can use that effect, and that's really useful. But mostly whenever I'm using it, I tend to link it away pretty quickly. Next off, Carded Plant, Verte Anaconda. It just allows you to copy a fusion spell by paying 2,000 hit points from your deck and send it from the deck to the graveyard. That would be the deck profile, guys. For a quick combo, I guess. So the combo that I was referring to earlier with Batteryman Solar and D Fisher or D Shifter is that you activate Dimension Shifter or Fisher, and then normal Batteryman Solar activate its effect to send Roar, which will get banished, and then Roar's effect will special summon Dark, and then you can create a token. After this, you would link the token and Dark into some Summoner. And the next bit really kind of depends on what cards, what Thunder Dragon monsters you have in your hand. So if you have Hawk in your hand, then you're gonna want to summon you're gonna want to add Fusion, because that will allow you to make Titan, or alternatively, if you have like another Fusion or Thunder Dragon monster in your hand, you can summon Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. But back on track. So you have some Summoner and a Batteryman Solar. So if you don't have Fusion, you're gonna search Hawk. Or no, if you don't have Hawk, you're gonna search Hawk, and then you're gonna activate Hawk's effect to bring back really any, like, either Dark or Roar. It doesn't really particularly matter. And then you can make Thunder Stormneck. If you had Fusion in your hand, or if you already had Hawk in your hand, but you end up searching Fusion, then you can activate its effect and just gain an additional Titan on the board, which is really pretty nice. So yeah, I really hope that wasn't too confusing for anybody tuning in. But yeah, that was the deck profile. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.